This is the video tutorial for creating vertical bar charts from census data. I assume that you've already downloaded the spreadsheet for the bar chart lab, and that you should have it open and see something along these lines. I also assume that you have downloaded and installed the XY chart labeler add-in. And you should have an add-in tab, and you should see XY chart labels there. But assuming that those things are done, we're going to be creating the figure from data on this one sheet, differences in mean earnings among whites, blacks, and Hispanics for different levels of education. So first thing, I want to insert a new worksheet. I'm going to rename that to Figure 1. And I'm going to color it again to red and move it to the first position, all things that I like to do. I'm going to begin typing in the values on the spreadsheet here that will be the basis for the table, and then I'll come back. I'm going to pause the video and come back after I have those things in. Okay, I've begun to type in the information that I need. I'm going to change the font for the whole thing by selecting the entire page here. I'm just going to, I like Book Antiqua, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so it's a little bit easier for me to see. If I select and double click on a column, it will expand that column so I can see the entire label. And then I'm going to go over and get the relevant information from the spreadsheet. So white only, no high school degree. Okay, so equals white only, no high school degree. So 21,590. I'm going to do that for the rest of those figures. I'm going to pause and I'll come back. Okay, I want to create two more columns here. I want to look at the percent difference from white, and I want to do that for both blacks and Hispanics. And percent difference from white is going to require a formula which is dividing the black income divided by the white income, and notice that comes out to be about 83% or so. I'm going to go back up here in the formula bar and put parentheses around that, and then subtract 1 from that, so it comes out to be negative 0.16, and then I'll hit the percent style here, negative 16%. So the way to interpret this is that blacks without a high school degree earn 16% less than do whites. And so I'll go down and copy those into those cells, and then I'll do the same thing for Hispanic and come back. Actually, I decided I'm going to show you another little trick here. Go back up into the cell here for the percent difference from white for black. And in the formula bar, I'm going to go back in there and I'm going to add a $sign before the D. And what that $sign does is it's going to let's say an absolute cell reference is what that's referred to. And that absolute cell reference is going to center this on that row. That'll make more sense in a moment. But I'm going to pull that down and copy over those things, so every one of those now has a $D in the formula. Now when I go down and I can highlight all of these and just pull those over to Hispanic, and notice in the Hispanic category I now have F4 divided by the $D4 minus 1. So that's a way for me to do some copying of cells without writing in new formulas. Now creating a vertical bar chart of this is incredibly easy. All I need to do is go up and highlight these 4 columns, just this set of cells, because those are the data that I want to chart. Go to Insert, Column, and pick the first. Notice I'm not picking 3D here. I'm not picking cylinder, cone, or pyramid, which you should always avoid. I'm picking 2D column. And notice that it is got the rough outline of what I want for my finished chart. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm just going to go ahead, highlight the legend, and delete it. I'll add that back in a little bit later, and I'm going to resize this to what I know I want it to be, which is 4 inches tall there by 5 inches wide. A couple of things to do. You should be familiar with these by now. We'll go to the layout and select the chart area. I'll format that, solid fill, and I'll make it my light blue color. I'll select the plot area and make that my light orange color. I'll select the grid lines and select the solid line again. I make that light blue color. So those are some basic things to do relatively quickly. I'm going to change the fonts on the scales to Trebuchet 10 point, and the same over here, Trebuchet 10 point. I'm going to make a change here because this is dollar amount. If you go over to the formatting option for the axis, I want to show you something. Under display units, I'm going to pick 1000s here, and notice it threw in that little thing, but I have this would be 100,000 right there. Now I'm going to select that little thousands label that I put in, that axis label, and I'm actually going to delete that. I don't need that, as you'll see. I can add in my legend again by going to the layout button, hitting legend. Notice that it says none, it's turned off. What I'm going to do is select overlay at left and just drag that in here, and I'll make it wide, something along those lines. And again, I'm going to change the font to Trebuchet. Okay. I'm going to change the colors on these so it has a little bit of color coding to it. For whites, I will pick white, but I am going to put a border around this as well. I'll pick a black line with a border and leave the border style that same way. So now you can see I have a white bar with a black outline. For blacks, I'm going to change the color to obviously black, and even though you won't be able to see it, I'll put a solid line border around that. And then for Hispanics, I'll show you a little trick here. I'll do a solid fill, but I'll go down to the more colors here and pick a brown color and hit OK. And again, I'll put a border around that. So it's color coded. I have most of what I need here. There's one other trick I'm going to show you, but first I'll add in the title with the text box, and that is differences in mean earnings among whites, blacks, and Hispanics. 2008. I think there's something else I have to add to that, but I'll change the font to Trebuchet and to bold and 12 point, and I will make it 5 inches wide. Pull that down a little bit, pull that up, and I'm going to pause here. I did need to add some information to the title. among whites, blacks, and Hispanics by level of highest degree, comma, 2008. Let me check the height of that. It's 0.5 will be sufficient. I'll pull that up just a hair. Pull this up so I can put in source information. And again, text box. Pull that whole size. Put in a note. Earnings are measured in thousands of dollars. That way I don't have to have an axis label. I'm going to say that this will make more sense in a moment, but the percentage difference from earnings for whites appears above the bars for blacks and Hispanics. I'm going to select that whole box, change that to Book Antiqua, make that 9 point, go in on the note and make the note word italicized. And I want to put in source information as well. This is the statistical abstract of the United States. 2011, table 228. And changing that source to italic. Make sure my box is the right size. It should be 5 inches wide and 0.6 of an inch tall, and center that on the bottom. Okay, so there's only one other thing that I need to do here. Pull that up so it's in between the grid lines. One other thing that I need to do here is add in those chart labels. And that's what these values over here are for. To do that, just make sure that I have the chart selected, go to add-ins, hit XY chart labels, and say add chart labels. And I don't want to add it for the data series white only. I want to put this over black only. Selected a label range, and I highlight those. Select a label position, outside end, OK. And notice that they're there. Next thing I want to do is, actually I want to select all of them. So from the layout, notice I can select black only data labels, format selection, and I can select outside end, inside end, whatever here. But the key thing I want to do is go to alignment and change the text direction. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Close. I want to do the same thing for Hispanics. Add in chart labels. Add chart labels. I want to put that on Hispanics. Go over and select that range. Outside end. Hit OK. Select those. Go to layout, format selection, alignment, and rotate. Close. And that's my figure. The only other thing I need to do, as before, from home, I want to hit copy as picture. It's shown when printed. Paste it there. Copy this and paste it into my Google document, and I'm done. And that's the video.